Yeah, welcome to episode 25. We have Derek Moneyberg here.
Hey,
Thank you so much. Respect.
thank you.
I've been watching you guys for at least 10 years when, back to the, gains.
Yeah. I
Games.
need to get back.
We're
into
going to bring
that,
it back, man.
So I made tens of millions of dollars in entrepreneurship. I made tens of millions of dollars in the stock market. I made over $10 million in real estate in profits. There's some people out there that don't mind being poor. They don't mind doing not much, and I don't think they like it, but they don't hurt their feelings too much. But
Right.
if you're okay, having a used car and a used wife or something like that, that's all right, man.
Yeah.
Success is not for everybody. Not everybody's supposed to be a winner.
Wealth doesn't come from the outside, it comes from within. Like you can give a bunch of poor people millions of dollars. They'll be poor in like 2 to 3 months, 2 to 3 years. But that rich person, you will be able to accrue all that wealth back in a short amount of time because it comes from within.
Yeah.
I learned that from the rappers back in the 90s. The pimping is in you, not on you.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody's coming to save you. You got to go do some shit for yourself.
Right,
If you want to
right.
do well in life, if you want to have better circumstances, you have to go earn that. You have to think of what are the areas that I could take initiative to make things a little bit better.
Right.
This past 110 years, the dollar has lost 98% of its value.
Yeah.
To be
like
a millionaire, a 1 million in the past, you have to have 50 million today to have that same
Right.
real freedom or purchase.
See, that's why I'm a millionaire.
The dollar lost.
If they keep that shit up, you might all
I'm gonna be a billionaire.
Yeah, you could be a trillionaire. Like,
Yeah.
a burger might cost $2 billion, but
Yeah.
you might be a trillionaire.
Yeah, welcome to episode 25. We have Derek Moneyberg here. How you going? How you doing, sir?
Doing great. Thanks for inviting me on.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to give you the floor. Tell us about who you are and what you do and what you provide.
I grew up poor and decided there was a better way in life. I didn't really care to stay that way. So
How poor were you?
I was talking about this with a friend earlier, like different times. Some people, if you grew up with money, then you just kind of take that for granted.
Oh,
You
yes,
think,
definitely.
Yeah.
everything's good. Like, oh, why do you care about money? Why do you care about
Right, that's true.
why are you so intense? Why can't you just relax? And, so it's not third world. I've been to 65, 66 countries, and it's not like Nigeria poor, but like
Oh, shit. 65 countries?
in America, like, I remember being a kid, sometimes we didn't have food, or sometimes my parents couldn't pay the power bill or the phone bill.
I remember those days as well. Yeah.
When you're making friends in school and it's, I'll call you after school, and be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Got no
I
phone.
don't have a phone. My mom can't pay the phone bill. So
It's funny you should say that. I was embarrassed when my friends came to my house.
I was as well. So,
Yeah. Because we had this house on this hill.
Yeah.
And it's right when that movie Amityville came out. Right? Remember that horror movie?
Scare house.
Our house is like on a hill surrounded by these trees, and it was a shithole house.
Yeah.
And it had these big trees, and we was just up on the hill, and the house was green. So it just looked haunted.
Yeah.
And then when I finally had friends come over, it was like, oh my God, y'all live here?
I remember this white kid, one of my white friends came over. He came in, the first words out of his mouth said, oh my God, you niggas is crazy as hell. It's hot as hell in this house. I didn't know what air conditioning was.
Yeah.
I thought air conditioning was for schools and like commercial buildings. I didn't actually think people had air conditioning in the house. It was so hot in the house. And I went to his house, it was like a refrigerator. I was like cold and shit. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. So what do you do? I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, man, I grew up like that, and I had kind of a non-traditional life. My father was in prison. My mother was not the best mother. So I mean, everybody's got their, people got sadder stories than I do. But I just thought, like, it's okay if you don't have resources for a period of time. If you're a child and you don't have resources, like, all right, you're a fucking child. Like, okay, but like, that was very frustrating to me. And I thought, like, an adult man, you should have whatever the hell you want. You should be able to make whatever the hell you want. So I don't tell other people how to live their life, but like, people come to me for help that they tend to be doing well already. They tend to already be doing well above average, but they know they're not living up to their real potential. They know they could do better. So, I unlike a lot of people on the internet that talk about money or financial things, I actually did those things. I made tens of millions of dollars in entrepreneurship. I made tens of millions of dollars in the stock market. I made over $10 million in real estate in profits. So, I wanted to do whatever the hell was necessary to go get some money. So I was 7. I started making some entrepreneurial money, doing kid shit, walking dogs and shoveling snow and cutting grass and things like that back in Illinois. And then, Yeah, over time, I just I had my first paper out when I was 10. I had 4 paper routes by the time I was 11. That was my first managerial gig where I learned to outsource things and keep a percentage and
Oh, okay, yeah.
and so on. So I spent my life that way. And later, I went to college. I was a high school dropout. We were around a bunch of misfit kids, and
Oh, wow, really?
so I was in jail when I was supposed to be in high school for aggravated assault and
Yeah,
reckless
you look like the type of
discharge.
guy that beat the hell out of somebody.
I'm known for my kind heart. And
Right.
no, I was fighting. You know, you get into fights when you're young and high school age. But
Yeah.
I'm not trying to fight with nobody. I don't want
Right.
to. I don't want to fight with nobody if I don't have to.
Yeah. Did you have a mentor growing up?
That was the problem, and it's a great question. Like, I had a lot of negative mentors. There's a lot of people around that you see people doing some crazy shit that clearly wasn't going to be good for their future.
Right.
You'd be like, oh, that heroin, that don't seem like a good thing for my future.
Yeah,
I'm not going
right.
to do that shit,
Right.
So I had some negative mentors like that, but
Yeah.
I really didn't have a good positive mentor, and that was very frustrating. when
Yeah,
you're
you
young,
know what? Today, man, there was no internet, no anything, and if people want to, back in those days, you had to actually have somebody in person be a mentor. Nowadays, man, I got the internet. I got like hundreds of mentors where you be able to go online and just learn from people.
Yeah,
We didn't have that growing up.
No, none of us did. I think we're about the same age, and
We're about to be 50.
oh, you're not really.
Yeah, I'm going to be 50 in September.
Oh, 45. I thought you were my age, a little younger.
No, we some old black men.
Things change when you got a mentor, and I get these DMs. I'm sure you have your version of it where people write you, some similar thing where like, give me a job or do this or do that, and like be qualified for the damn thing, or like show up and do your part, like,
Right.
earn that spot. And I was always like, I didn't give a shit about being popular or like with normal people. I didn't care what normal people think, but I wanted to like earn a good place in the world that you'd be like well respected by other respected people or other people that you respect,
Right.
So that was kind of my internal thought. Like, I got to do whatever's necessary to gather the right intellectual resources, social resources. If you had those two things, you'd end up with some financial resources, and you can live your life how you want to. So
Right.
there's some people out there that don't mind being poor. They don't mind doing not much, and I don't think they like it, but they pretend
Right.
it don't hurt their feelings too much. But
Right.
if you're okay, like having a tiny house and a huge wife, and maybe a used car and a used wife or something like that, like, that's all right, man.
Yeah.
Success is not for everybody. Not everybody's supposed to be a winner, but
Right.
But if I think it's a lifestyle choice. That's what this little logo of this like choose to conquer. Like you could choose to overcome your current circumstances and earn some better circumstances if you were so inclined.
Yeah, I saw this. I'm not sure what the guy's name, but he was talking about wealth, and he says wealth doesn't come from the outside; it comes from within. Like you can give a bunch of poor people millions of dollars; they'll be poor in like 2 to 3 months, 2 to 3 years. But that rich person, he will be able to accrue all that wealth back in a short amount of time because it comes from within.
Yeah.
I learned that from the rappers back in the 90s. The pimping is in you, not on you.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, that's another way of saying it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, did you I think we didn't have a mentor growing up. We grew up poor, but my dad had 2 jobs. We have a strong masculine influence on us to go out and get what we want out of life. Did you have a masculine influence for you?
My father was the largest cocaine trafficker in my county's history at that time.
Self-employed.
Yeah, so he was an
Entrepreneur.
entrepreneur. He was an entrepreneur.
He saw a need. He wanted to fulfill it.
That's true. That's true.
Really?
That also led to me coming to Vegas as a child. That he had some business with people here, but he was gone. I had one uncle. They went to prison together, and I was like with my mom and my grandparents, and my mom was a crazy bitch. And
How so?
how long we got?
This is not interesting. I want to hear it. You don't got a time frame on this.
Yeah, man. It was just look. She wasn't drunk. She wasn't high. She wasn't
Right.
out sleeping around. But she wasn't the best mother.
Right.
So I was sufficiently frustrated with that I was like, about age 10, I had kind of a click in my head, like, and I don't say this in like in a negative or dramatic way, but just like a realization of like, all right, like nobody's coming to save you. You got to go do some shit for yourself.
Right,
If you want to
right.
do well in life, if you want to have better circumstances, you have to go earn that. You have to think of like, what are the areas that I could take initiative to make things a little bit better.
Right.
Like
And
a
what
lot of
else and what
people,
else?
like a lot of people, like when in a tough situation, they like to victimize themselves, right? But you found you didn't, you rose above that. What do you think, like people like you, people like us, how were we able to do that and not victimize ourselves?
I think
It's weird, right? Because just people see the world differently.
People like, especially when it comes to politics, people actually think politicians going to save them. Nobody's going to save you. Trump can't save you. Biden can't save you. The only person who can save you is yourself.
And
a lot of people don't get it.
Yeah, you figured that out. Why do you think some people can't figure that out?
Maybe they're dumb. I don't know.
It's a capacity issue.
50% of people are below average by definition. 50% of people are below average. So maybe those people aren't made for thinking much. But you know, and there is a narrative, you know, in mainstream media that you know, if you buy this product, it's going to save you, or you vote for this politician, it's going to save you. Like, if you're waiting for the government to improve your circumstances, you're in trouble. Like,
most people
it's going to be bad.
I never really understood this until this last 4 or 5 years, but most people are sheep.
Yeah.
They don't want to be a lion. They don't want to be a tiger. They rather just follow the status quo.
The pandemic showed everybody what everybody's true likeness is. Everybody a coward and sheep and followers.
It is damn near everybody. It was shocking to me the percentage of people that'll just blindly follow orders.
Yeah.
And you know, another guest that you had on is a friend of mine who spent a lot of time together, Jake Shields, the MMA guy. And Jake and I go wherever, and I'm not wearing some damn clown mask on my face or a fucking diper on my face. I can't breathe through that shit. And he's that way too. And we have all
just
sorts
common
of
sense.
It don't make no damn it just didn't make no damn sense. And like
they actually think that's gonna keep them from getting sick.
Think about it. You wearing that mask, it's catching the virus. You walk home and take the shit off. You take it home to your whole family. It's damn mask with the virus on it. If it does what it does, but
now you'd have all kinds of little confrontations that, like, people think you're gonna kill it. I was walking in Central Park in New York, and somebody approached me and said, "You're not wearing a mask," like hysterical.
Outside, right?
Outside in the fucking park, like 3 p.m., 3:30 p.m., daytime in the park.
Damn sun out.
And and this person was hysterical, and I said, "Get the fuck out of here before I cough on your bitch ass." Get the fuck going. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So why are you wearing a fucking mask? What's wrong with you?
And you know what's crazy, man? I support the men in blue, but they was out there pushing the mandates and pushing everything, arresting people.
Yeah, New York.
And I support the men in blue, but don't forget who they really represent. They don't represent the citizenry. They represent the police department, the government. They're there to enforce their rules, not to protect our rights.
They put a lot of law enforcement people and military people in a bind there too. That if you don't want to take your injection and your 8th injection and your 12th injection and wear your fucking diaper on your face, then a lot of the best people who quit those jobs or refuse to comply with that.
Yeah, now you got the sheep work running on.
And I think that's very intentional. I think it's very intentional that politicians don't want people that are thinking independently and have some sense of honor or masculinity. They don't want those people in positions of power.
Right.
So you made your money in the stock market, real estate, and now you're helping other people.
Look, man, what I do ain't for everybody. I'm not here to like push a program or something. Like, I teach 3 courses. I teach a 12-week mentoring course about entrepreneurship. I teach another 10-week course about stock market, 10 more weeks about real estate.
I need that one on stock market. You know what? My portfolio, I've been a lot of crypto. I got whole precious metals, and I own stock. About, let's say 3 months ago, my portfolio was up a little over 120%.
No, it's more like 200%.
Yeah, I think it was around 200%.
Yeah, it's more like 200%.
Some of my things I was up 2,600% in. It's just, crypto was very volatile. Since everything's starting to pull back yesterday, like the last four weeks, really started dumping. My portfolio is down 40%. Yeah. Lost a lot of money.
I woke up down over $1 million today. So I could show you a screenshot off camera. But I was down over $1 million when I woke up, and when the market closed, it went a little bit my way. So now I'm only down 600,000. I'm still in a good mood about it. It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, how do you stay positive? Because I'm like, I was gonna just bash my head in the wall when I woke up.
Well, a lot of people, it's a buying opportunity, Keith. I said, Keith, come on, let's buy more.
I don't get upset when I'm up 2 million, 3 million. If you're up 2.5 million a day, or I had a good week a while back. I was up 4 million and change, and I'm not exuberant or too goddamn excited during that time.
You keep it even
because you know where that money's going. in the future. Just don't set it.
Man, ideally, I don't even want to spend the money in my lifetime. I was having a conversation about that with friends. They're like, well, what's the end game, or what's the point of when do you stop investing? And I'm like, well, Warren Buffett's 93.
Right.
And, he's got 135 billion.
Right.
And he still wakes up thinking about his investments.
Right.
Is he going to spend that money on something? Like, what the hell is he going to buy? What's he going to buy?
Right. He's just trying to buy stocks.
So if you really did a good job, with your portfolio, you'd never spend that money. It's just there, and it gives you some peace and security through your lifetime.
That's a good outlook on it. Yeah.
So, I have a preference. I've tried both. When you're up a lot of money in a day or down a lot of money, I do have a preference. But I don't get very excited when I'm up, and it doesn't hurt my feelings when I'm down. It's like, am I engaging in the right behaviors that would lead to good outcomes in the long term?
Right.
Exactly. I think that's how you have to think about it.
So, what were your programs again?
Moneyberg mentoring is about entrepreneurship.
Okay.
We have one called Markets Mastery, about stock markets, global markets in general, but primarily stock market. And a third one is about real estate and real estate investing and how to build construction elements and how to build portfolios of real estate and whatnot.
We just gave away the cheap Rubicon. The good old imp. Good dude, man. Good dude. He making families great again. Yeah, hey, but I want to show y'all the new giveaway. Yeah. Oh, man. We're really going to be your two favorite black guys after you see this. Man, you walk too slow. Shut up. Shut the door. Yeah, good old General Lee. Yeah! We're in Dixieland with our giveaway. Give it away. A little Southern Pride. We give away a General Lee 1969 Dodge Charger 426 Hemi. It's a lot of Hemi. Come with $10,000 in cash. And I gotta ask you, who's your favorite two black guys? Go to VentureHardTwins.com. Anything you buy on the site gets you automatically into the win. Yeah. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. See official rules for details. Yeah.
Have you heard about the new laws they're passing here in Nevada about real estate? I think it's across the United States.
The Airbnb or something else?
Not the Airbnb. They're changing how the commissions are paid. Who's going to pay for the commissions? Yeah. How do you think that's going to affect the real estate market?
I mean, I don't think it's a great thing that especially in Las Vegas. There's everybody, they come to Vegas and they're like a manager at a nightclub or like a host at a nightclub. And then when that person gets frustrated in that industry, then they're like, I'm going to be a realtor. Well, that lasts 2 months.
Right.
But you're creating a circumstance where people that have been well compensated and actual professionals are not really incentivized to want to play along with those new guidelines. There's a friction point there.
Yeah, what's the new guidelines?
A lot of realtors telling me that it benefits like the BlackRocks of the world, people, big corporations who's buying homes. It hurts the American people.
Yeah, what are the new guidelines?
Quote me, tell me if I'm wrong, but like when you buy a house now, like if I go buy a home, the seller pays the commission of the realtor, right?
Yeah. So just as a brief example, if you bought a property for $1 million, then in most environments it's going to be about a 6% commission.
Right.
And that 6% commission will get split, tends to be 4 ways. So the seller pays the commission. So if they sold the home for $1 million, it'd be about $60,000 in commissions.
Right.
Half of that is going to go to their realtor's brokerage firm. Half's going to go to the other realtor's brokerage firm. And then they'll split it there, where the realtor themselves ended up with 1.5%. The broker got 1.5%. The other realtor got 1.5%. The other broker got 1.5%. So they're making $15,000. Your realtor can make $15,000 of that $60,000. But they also have marketing expenses and overhead to go advertise your home and whatnot. So I really don't think the old system was bad. I talked with the realtor. I just today I got a signed contract back for a piece of real estate I'm purchasing for low 7 figures, and I don't mind the old system. It works that you could have a competent person on the other side to do a lot of legwork and do things for you.
What's the new
so
system?
now the new system is the buyer. He has to pay those commissions, right?
I don't know every detail of it, and I don't want to say. My understanding is similar to like the British system, but whereas it's like that, the buyer has to sign off and agree. Are they going to pay a commission at all? Imagine the buyer is like, no, I don't want to pay a commission. Well,
Right.
nobody's going to show you houses, maybe.
Right.
I don't know. I think the old system's been working just fine for all of our lifetime and longer, and I don't understand the desire to change that. And
I generally think they want to make it harder for Americans to buy houses and make it easier. I mean, corporate buyers like BlackRock, they got the money and the fortitude to buy all these homes and pay the commissions. The average American doesn't. It's going to make it harder for them to buy homes. Yeah.
Well, that goes in with this, you own nothing and be happy comment from World Economic Forum. And I think any of that is very dangerous. That if a person's not alarmed by that, then they're really not paying attention. And I think they don't understand the consequences longer term of not paying attention now.
You know what's so striking about that? You don't hear anybody talking about it. Yeah. No Republicans, no Democrats.
But it's a Democrat bill, right?
Yeah. It's a left-leaning bill. But Republicans are not saying anything.
They get paid by the same corporations in the same foreign countries.
They do.
So I don't think there's a dramatic difference. I've never thought of myself as Democrat or Republican for most of my life. I loosely thought of myself as a libertarian.
Right.
But they're crazy as hell too, and when you get into little niche pockets of that. But I think
Who you think? Which side is more crazy?
I mean,
if you had to pick, who's the craziest? Is it Democrats or Republicans?
I call them Democrats with a
Democrat,
P instead of a T. No, that's become the Communist Party. It's you shouldn't think about it as a Democrat in a traditional way. Somebody
they're not liberal anymore.
Somebody like JFK from a few decades ago would be an extremist. Everybody's an extremist today if you had normal thoughts from a couple decades ago.
Right, definitely.
So even in their own party, it's shifted so much that it's just they're more communist than the communists sometimes. Some of the policies are more asinine and bad for the people. What they do in China and Russia and other places that are openly communist, they at least care about the country in some way in the long term. They don't give a shit about the current citizens, perhaps, but they do care that the country exists in 1,000 years. And over here, they don't care about that at all.
Yeah, they're just worried about power and keeping it. The Democrats.
I didn't understand that until 2020 when I thought to myself, all the political rhetoric we'd hear over our lifetime. I think to myself, you know what, like. The United States is like 4.6% of the world's population, like 27% of the global economy. Like whatever politician, they'll say whatever to get elected.
Right, that's true.
But I never thought they would really fuck things up afterwards. And then I realized later, I'm like, they don't care if their favorite businesses, if their favorite restaurants go out of business. They don't care if their favorite retailers go out of business. They don't care. They don't care if 95% of the economy is destroyed. As long as they control that last 5%.
Yep, right.
They're more concerned with that power mechanism than any other damn thing in their life.
Yeah. I think that's why a lot of people resonate with the things that Donald Trump said. It comes off genuine. Most people wouldn't say some of the things he says out loud. Like on the left, everything is just a lie. Like
they're like chameleons. They just they address whoever they're speaking to. They put on that face. They put up that facade. Just like the whole Kamala Harris thing. When she's around black people, she wants them to see her as being black, so she talks black or she talks about black topics.
Yeah. And then if someone calls her out for it because they're being so disingenuous on the left, he said, nobody really cares about what her race is, but we care because a lot of black people is going to vote for her simply because you say you're black. That's the only reason why we're talking about it. If black people wasn't so easily tricked or duped, we wouldn't care about it. But that's very important to most, I would say, black females. Not as much for a black male, but a black female, their identity, their blackness, it's the whole identity. And they're so easily manipulated and tricked.
I think the people that talk about this race thing so much are like the most racist people. Like, I wouldn't give a shit. Like, I'd do business with an alien. I'd do business with a sea creature. Like, if there was out here, there's Lake Mead. But for other coastal people, maybe you live next to an ocean, a lake. If we could go to Lake Mead and somewhere down there's a little volcanic vent that spits up some toxic chemicals and it's too damn hot for us to go there. But occasionally a few diamonds bubble up in the toxic muck. If there was a little fish if there was a fish that could go over there and collect those diamonds in his mouth and meet you on the shore every Tuesday at 9 a.m. And he liked crackers. He loved saltine crackers. Would you ever be late with his fucking crackers?
Nope. No.
He bring you a mouthful of diamonds every Tuesday at 9. Are you going to be late with his crackers?
Man, I got a box of saltines waiting for him.
Would you give a shit what color the fish is?
No.
Would you care if he had jagged teeth?
Yeah, that's not
cares?
my argument. My argument is they being disingenuous using it for political points. Like Republicans, we don't care that she's black, white. We don't care. It's just you got to understand from from my culture, black people, we've always voted Democrat. So it's not important to you, but it's very important to black people. 95% of black people vote for Democrats. So when a person comes out who claims to be black, but her whole entire career, she says she's Indian. All of a sudden she's black. That says something about how genuine a person is. I don't care one way or the other. I do business with anybody. I don't care if you're black, white, liberal, or anything. I'm just trying to explore it out. I'm just trying to explain that they are exploiting people that it's been exploited since the beginning of time.
Of this country.
I understood your point, and I don't disagree in any way. I just elaborating that they're incentivized to perpetuate this racism. People that aren't racist aren't sitting around thinking about racism all day. They're just living their life and doing business and trying to be industrious and accomplish something.
Right. It's bad for business too.
Yeah.
Playing the race card.
Yeah, Democrats use it for power, though.
Yeah.
What was your first break in entrepreneurship? How did you become a millionaire?
I did things with real estate, but to do that, significantly, I had to go to. I mean, it was only 15 years or something to go do something. I had $1 million just after my 29th birthday, and that was mostly from real estate at the time. So I was managing rental properties when I was in college. I was a high school dropout, so I had to go to community college, and then I got some scholarship money to go to a decent, private university. Later, I went to University of Chicago for graduate school, which was the #1 ranked, business program in our country.
MBA?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you was able to earn most of your wealth through real estate.
Yeah, the first parts of that were real estate related, and then even in the 08, 09 recession, I was buying a lot of casino stocks because I knew Las Vegas. I grew up out here, I was back and forth here, and I spent a lot of time in Las Vegas over my lifetime. And I seen Las Vegas Sands, which at that time owned the Venetian Palazzo. They restructured some things there, but LVS at that time was like Venetian Palazzo, and then they owned big properties in Macau. Macau was near Hong Kong, for people that don't know. But nobody knew what the hell Macau was at that time. And when I first went to Macau in 2009, this is the gambling epicenter of the world, not Las Vegas, Macau. And the stock, Las Vegas Sands went from $155 to I started buying it when it was $6, and then it went down to $4, and I doubled that position. Then it went down to $2, and I doubled that position. So I owned it for $350 on average.
You got balls of steel.
It went down to $1.38. You don't feel too smart then. There might have been balls, but you didn't feel too brilliant when you paid $350 and it's $1.38, and you don't feel great at that time. So later I sold it for $42, $44, $46. It went to $89, so I could have held on to it and done better. But that was a first. I made $1 million and change from real estate, but that's when I could really start multiplying some money. That went from $1 million to $4 million.
Right. Yeah.
And then in the last recession, that's why I went back to grad school. I didn't want a job. I have had a job since I was 19. But I went back to grad school, so I wanted to know every little nerdy math thing that what are those Indian kids, Kamala's family, the ones with the nerdy boys with the thick glasses from Kamala's family. What do they know about finance that I don't? What do they know about math?
They're all mathematicians. The people who does well in the stock market, they're mathematicians, statisticians.
You have to understand the math, and you got to understand human psychology as well. So how are those crazy humans likely to behave in various circumstances? So those two things help you an awful lot. And, I had to go get mentors for that. You asked the mentor question earlier. I had to go find mentors to help me, through college and with business. And you try to figure things out by yourself. You're going to be dead before you learn the things you need to learn to do something substantial. So,
how do you feel like a majority of my net worth is not in a bank account? A majority of my net worth is in real estate, stocks, crypto, precious metals. I would say over 90% of my net worth is in assets. I don't keep none of my money in the bank.
I don't want cash.
Yeah, because it's just slow. A lot of people don't understand. I have to tell my wife this. She keeps putting money in her savings account. I say, you're losing money every day and you don't see it.
It's true.
Inflation.
Inflation is a tax on people that don't understand math.
Right.
Inflation is just another tax. And
My wife, dumb at math.
if you, she must be good at some other things too.
Oh yeah, she's good at some things,
I'm sure she
but
is.
making money, taking money, and turning it into money, she's bad at.
No, I say that with respect. That
Yeah.
I mean, if you looked at the history of the dollar since the Federal Reserve Bank, that's 1913 or so, and this past 110 years, the dollar has lost like 98% of its value.
Yeah.
So if you think of what a millionaire was, 100 years ago versus today,
Right.
to have the purchasing power that a millionaire, people say that word like it means something. You buy $1 million is like you could buy a really nice parking spot in Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
could buy. I'm buying a parking garage right now for about $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
You can't buy a nice house in in a big city.
You
but
can't. Right.
$1 million 100 years ago, if the dollar lost 98% of its purchasing power, which is true, you have to have 50 million today to be what
like
a millionaire, a 1 million in the past. You have to have 50 million today to have that same real freedom or purchasing.
See, that's
power.
why I'm a millionaire. The dollar lost.
If they keep that shit up, you might all
I'm gonna be a billionaire.
Yeah, you could be a trillionaire. A burger might cost $2 billion, but you might be a trillionaire.
Hey, Derek, what do you feel about 401k plans?
I don't think about it at all. It's like this is very peasant thinking, like middle class. That
Yeah, I don't have a 401k.
it just if that's what you're thinking about, if that's what a person's thinking about is my IRA, I can contribute $6,500 a year to my IRA, and over 40 years I could have a few $100,000 plus some gains in there. Like,
right?
What are you going to buy with that? You're going to buy 2 cheeseburgers in the future.
Yeah.
So I get it. Like, but these are like political schemes that, in my opinion, are just a distraction for middle class people.
Yep. I think it's like one of the worst investments, because if you try to take that money out, they're going to penalize because you're hurting their investment, the government. Because really, I see a 401k plan is a retirement plan for the government, because when you go to access these funds, you're in a higher tax bracket. If you go before and take that money out before you retire, they're going to penalize because you hurting the government's retirement plan. I think they're a horrible investment. A guy told me that's not a real investment or a retirement plan for anybody that's a citizen of the country. He says more a retirement thing for the IRS, for our government to have more money.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's just a distraction for people that aren't smart enough to understand that.
Right.
It gives them a false comfort of like, oh, I've got a retirement plan. If that's your plan, there's no plan, man. Like,
right.
And to your point from a moment ago, like you have to own real assets. You have to own things that are inflation neutral or assets that benefit from inflation.
Right.
And,
Real estate.
And that goes back to real estate as a primary, in my opinion, or infrastructure. Like in 2020, I was buying like a lot of natural gas pipelines, oil and gas infrastructure, and it was so cheap at the time.
Right.
You could buy. I mean, there's a company called Energy Transfer. I wouldn't buy it right now. I was paying $4 for it. It went down to $3.75. I was buying it for $4 or $5. Now it's $15, $16. They pay a great dividend, but I wouldn't buy it right now. I'm not endorsing that stock. Just to give an example, is that if they own 117,000 miles of natural gas pipelines, oil and gas pipelines, if that company doesn't, if that infrastructure doesn't exist, people die.
Right.
So, like, for them to make money, all you have to believe is, like, will it remain popular to heat your home in the winter? Would it remain popular to heat your home? Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Will like, electricity remain popular? Because you got to burn their natural gas to create electricity in certain regions of the country.
Right.
If you don't burn the gas that goes through their pipeline, there's no electricity.
Right.
So, whatever their political affiliation, like, do you think people would like to have electricity?
Of course.
I suspect so.
Yeah.
So, if they want to have electricity, then I get paid.
Yeah.
If they want to have heat in the winter, I get paid. If you want to cook food, gas or electric for your family, I get paid.
Yeah.
So I like to buy very simple, boring things that are out of favor, and I like things like that: real estate, infrastructure, like
something with utility.
What if the power bill costs 3 times as much? You guys going to be like in the dark with your family? Like,
No.
You're going to like forget about air conditioning?
You got to pay it.
Yeah, you're going to figure out where we're going to get that money.
Yeah.
So I think I like to buy things like that. Some people love. Natural metals, silver. Or, I like some gold jewelry, but the thing about gold, in my opinion, or silver, I do like it in in a doomsday type scenario or in a very bad scenario, it's nice to be able to hand your gold AP to a border agent and go somewhere where your family's not going to be executed on the other side.
Right.
So I think gold is nice for barter or trade in extreme situations.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense to me. But gold as an investment is like a large store of wealth, except for having the thought of in an emergency, this is going to be the natural currency that we can use for trade and get things done.
Right.
But if you're paying for gold versus the real estate or infrastructure, is the last 100 years gold basically did what it just follows inflation more or less.
Right.
It just follows the devaluation of the currency more than anything else. And if the gold price goes up high enough, guess what? The gold miners go dig out more gold out of the ground.
Right.
So, and if you owned real estate, if you owned farmland, whatever, any good quality real estate, it's hard to produce new farmland.
Right.
It's a lot easier to dig some more
Becomes
gold out of the ground.
very valuable. Yeah.
Look, everybody, inflation is out of control, and this problem is only going to get worse.
The value of silver, gold has been steadily rising, while the value of the American dollar has been falling.
PurpleBar.com is changing the game, making it easy for all of us to protect our financial futures. The bars are perforated so they can easily break apart and can be conveniently exchanged. Go to PurpleBar.com and use promo code Hodgetwins and you get 5% off gold bars. And you get 10% off silver bars. Yeah.
Yeah, like when I first moved out to California when I was in the military back in '94, man, I was stationed in MCS, Tustin, California. And when I got out there, I remember I was looking at the homes. I was like, oh my God, these homes are $250,000. Orange County is crazy. All those homes are millions of dollars.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, millions of dollars.
It's because of inflation. So let me ask you, what do you think? Let's say Trump gets back in office. Can he do anything about inflation?
Whoever's going to be in office is going to be more inflation, but they're just going to be less of it than if you have inflation because the government's spending money on infrastructure, on military spending, or half of the military spending is good, half of it's you don't know where it goes. There's got trillions of dollars missing from the Pentagon. Imagine that you're I don't know where those $2 trillion went.
Right.
But there's no consequences for it.
No consequences.
I don't know.
Right.
If imagine doing that with your personal finances.
Oh yeah.
But in any case, I miss Donald Trump every day. But I hope he gets elected.
Right.
But I know when I hope he gets elected. If he gets elected, he's still going to do something crazy that pisses me off, and it's not in my best interest.
Right.
But I do think he sincerely cares about the country.
Yes, he does.
I think he's good for the long-term future of our country.
Right.
And I think, whatever little annoyance that might come up, that we might have a different thought about something, or, I might not like some specific policy, if the other people get elected, much higher probability I die in a concentration camp or something.
Right.
Much, truly though.
Yeah.
Right.
Literally.
Yeah.
Right.
So, whatever, I'm willing to tolerate whatever little inconvenience or annoyance might come up. And, I've met the man a couple of times. I think he's a great man overall. I think he cares about the country. And I don't know who would be better for the country than him. I think he's the best leader that we could have right now.
Yeah.
So I support him.
Because of the stock market's crashing, everything's crashing, worldwide it's crashing, right? They said we're going into a recession and that they're going to cut interest rates by about 50 basis points, I think they said.
0.5%.
0.5%. Personally, what do you think, from your perspective, what the economy is going to look like 6 months, a year from now as they start to drop interest rates?
Well, when you lower the interest rates, you have more inflation. But that lags. That's a lagging indicator. 9 months later, you'll start seeing that come up. And really, they should have done that. If they would have done that in May,
waited too long, right?
Yeah, in my opinion, yeah. If you would have done that in May, June, then we wouldn't have the current circumstance where the Nikkei, the Tokyo Stock Exchange, was down 13% yesterday.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
The
Stock markets
volatility
around the world
index,
is falling.
This might be a little too nerdy, but the volatility index was up 180%. Their volatility rate was triple overnight in the Nikkei. And when I looked at stock futures this morning, the U.S. Volatility index, the VIX, was up 60%. And then through the day, it was floating around 40%. So, yeah, we have a lot of volatility now. We're going to have more. Whoever gets elected, there's going to be more inflation. And, you know, and it goes back to, like, if you don't own assets, if you have a savings account instead of, you know, infrastructure assets, real estate, at least some, you know, silver, gold, something that's going to be at least a natural hedge for inflation, you're in trouble. You're losing money.
Yeah.
I think you're 100% right about that. You're
Yeah,
losing
that's
money.
the biggest thing every American needs to do, regardless of your political affiliations. If you don't have assets, stocks, gold,
Most
real estate,
important thing, real
cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, you're going to get poor by the day.
Poor and poor.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, regarding you know, inflation and whatnot, it's politicians have to do that. It's just that's the state of things now. They're not going to go back to like a gold standard currency. We're not going to go back to something like that. So they've been playing this shell game forever. But yeah, you know, half a year later, inflation's not a bad thing for me. Inflation's not a bad thing.
Because we're holding assets.
Yeah.
Makes us richer.
I don't mind at all. Like, I sincerely don't mind at all, because I'm just like, all right, regardless of the price of natural gas, it's going to remain popular. Regardless of the price of, like, electricity, it's going to remain popular. People are going to prefer to, like, live in houses instead of, you know, on the street somewhere. So I'm going to be good. You know, people that don't own assets, they're not going to be good. And, you know, what we said about stocks too. If you have stocks that are, you know, income producing, if the stocks are businesses that are, you know, control income producing assets, you're gonna make money. You're gonna be good. So I'm gonna be a beneficiary. When all this crazy inflation happened, when they did all the $7 trillion,
Right.
a normal person don't know how many zeros is in a trillion. So it's 12 zeros, 7 with 12 zeros. They printed in, you know, 2020, 2021. I made $42 million in less than 2 years. I added an additional, you know, after taxes, after expense, I added an additional $42 million to my net worth at that time. And I don't. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to be a beneficiary of that.
Right.
But I think a normal person, that's the dangerous part. They don't understand that if you don't have good assets, if you think like, oh, I need to sell stuff and have more cash, I need more liquidity right now. Like, no, you're going the wrong way, man.
I stay away from cash.
I don't want cash, man.
Yeah.
I don't want
it's
cash.
worthless, really.
I'll keep a couple $100,000 around, and, you know, like, just, you know, for my business, just spending, you know, like, to pay the bills and, like, pay expenses for business, and everything else goes back into the stock market or real estate.
I want to ask you this question. Black people want reparations for, you know, what happened to our ancestors and things like that. They don't really understand the detriment that could have on our economy.
You think inflation is a problem now?
Yeah, how many black people is it in America?
It's around 40 million, I think.
40 million, and I think they're up and down with the number. I've seen some guys say 1 million, 2 million. I was like, come on.
That's how much they want?
Yeah. Do the math on that. I think that's in the quadrillions. I mean, if the government ever paid out reparations, that dollar's worth nothing.
I think it's 120 million of Black Americans. Can you look that up real quick, Chris? I think it's 100. I forget.
Yeah.
I forget how many million people in the U.S. I forget.
Yeah, watch this. I'm gonna bring
340 million and
340
million people.
Okay.
in America altogether. I think
And I believe about 13% have some African heritage. So
Exactly.
something like 40-ish
yeah.
million.
So I'm gonna take
45
13 million. If you're the president of the United States and you want to stop hearing these black people cry, how much would you give them in reparations?
I'd give them 0.
I mean, but
It's more than 13 million.
13 million blacks.
13% times 340 million gets you
Okay.
back to that
340
40-something million, I think.
Here we go, Kevin.
Times 13%.
Okay.
Okay, it's 44 million.
It's 42 million. That was in 2022.
Okay, so we got
It's
about
probably less now because they kill all their kids, babies, and abortion. But that's a fucked up joke. But whatever.
So you got 44 million people. Let's just say you're going to pay them 50,000, just 50,000 reparations, right? 50,000.
They ain't gonna take no 50,000.
No, I'm gonna be cheap. I'm gonna give them 50,000. So there, shut up, right? Times 50,000.
Yeah, you got to turn the phone sideways. I was
Yeah.
waiting for that part.
What is that? How much is that?
Let me see. Ones, tens, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s.
That's only
millions.
2.2 trillion.
2.2 trillion.
And
And that's just 50,000.
they want 20 to 40 times that amount is the
Yeah.
number you're saying. So,
Yeah.
so you're going to add $40 trillion, $80 trillion.
To the deficit.
What's the deficit right now? Like
34, 35
Yeah,
trillion.
so you're gonna double the deficit's already crazy, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna double that.
Yeah.
But see, Democrats are so disingenuous. They bring this conversation to blacks, and that's why they keep voting. They don't realize that this country is actually broke.
Yeah.
It's worse than broke.
Yeah,
It's
we're negative.
Yeah.
They don't know that. They don't know they've been
Used.
Slavery happened forever, man. Slavery happened.
Happened to everybody,
all of
too.
written history. In Europe, there's there's half a dozen countries of Bosnia, Herzegovina, Croatia. That whole part of the country, continent over there, is called the Slavic region. That's where slaves came from for 1,500 years through all the Roman and Greek times. It's called the Slavic region because that's where slaves come from.
Wow.
And those are white people.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
And then furthermore, I'm not a historian of slavery, okay?
Right.
But my understanding that in the United States, a lot of people that were historically slaves here came from Central Africa. So do you think that Caucasian people were pulling up on the coast of Africa? I've been to Africa. I spent about 5 weeks there. Do you think Caucasian people were showing up on the coast at the port, and then they trekked inside, 800 miles, 1,000 miles to go to Congo? Or
They don't realize that.
Yeah. So how did those people get to the coast? The coastal Africans brought the Central Africans to the coast
To the
and
white
sold
people.
them.
Yeah.
And that's life, and that's history.
Yeah.
And that happened everywhere. It happened in the Middle East. This is more than 5,000 years. All the written history that's been happening and before then. So
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
my ancestors were I'm 25% Native American. My mother was half.
What's your background ethnicity wise?
I'm half a Jew, and I'm not religious at all, but I'm half a Jew and 25% Native American and 25% some other European stuff.
Yeah, your ancestors, man,
Yeah.
they seen a lot.
Yeah, where's my Jew reparations? Where's my Native American? Where's my Native American reparations?
Right.
I don't want them because what you're saying is right. It's like you just bankrupt the country and the money's not worth anything. So
And I don't think you deserve it too. That's the most important thing.
I don't think anybody does.
Yeah.
Shitty things happen to everybody's ancestors.
Yeah.
Be fucking grateful. Like think of.
Be grateful you live here.
Everyone had ancestors that it was the normal course of human history that all of us had ancestors that struggled much more than we did.
Oh yeah.
It'd be a dream for our ancestors to have the current
live now.
opportunities and circumstances we have.
Yeah.
And how disrespectful to be a fucking whiny bitch and complain about not just the slavery type, but the multitude of things that people crybaby about today. They called me the wrong pronoun or some shit. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Just
Shut the fuck up.
Some people just like to, like you said,
These are
it's
just
like,
weak people.
It's like hitting the lottery being born in this country, but they sit here and victimize themselves.
Yeah.
The people that complain like that should immediately be like their passport should be revoked. They should be sent to one of these other shitholes that they think is better. They should be sent there with no opportunity to come back no matter what.
Yeah.
You know what I find is so disgraceful? You got so many people here don't have allegiance to our country, but they have an allegiance to another country. And I was like, why are you even here? If you really felt that way, go live there.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, but it's like talking to a brick wall.
There's all this, Palestine, Israel, Palestine, and there's assholes in Israel and there's assholes in Palestine.
Yeah, right.
And,
right.
And their ancestors were assholes, and their ancestors before them, and their ancestors before them.
Right,
And that don't mean all of them, but there's plenty of assholes to represent those two subgroups, and every other group in the country, in the world rather. So, I don't know. People get sucked into the media cycle of whatever, like we support this or that, and it's as stupid as those damn masks. If you got to be able to think a little bit. If you can't think for yourself, how are you going to have good outcomes in life?
Right.
If you stand, Denzel Washington had this great quote. I don't know if his original quote, but he said about the media that he said if you don't watch the news, you're uninformed.
Right.
And if you do watch the news, you're misinformed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful quote.
I think so.
Like journalism today, it's like people don't realize that the journalists or so-called journalists are not there to feed you information. They're here to push a narrative.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that.
I did an interview a couple of years ago. It was like, I don't remember if it was ABC or NBC. It was one of the big networks, and it's like one of those pre-recorded, like 8-minute pre-recorded things they're going to put on a show, 2 days later or whatever. And so we knocked out a little interview. The woman asked me about the topic of political correctness came up, and I said, well, anybody that values the political correctness over factual correctness which simply means reality, like the world as it is, just reality.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that thinks that political correctness is a superior model, like you deserve the terrible outcomes you're about to experience in life.
Yeah.
So we finished that little excerpt, and she's like, do you want to reshoot that? I literally didn't know why. I was like,
Right.
and I'm like, I thought it went pretty well. Like, is there something? And she's like, that thing. And I said, hey, this is why nobody gives a shit about your news stations anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't give a fuck. I add more credibility to your fucking network than your network does to me.
Right.
People that know me I'm not full of shit. People that know you.
You're right.
So if you don't want to air it, that's cool. I don't care, but I'm not gonna reshoot it. I don't care if you air it or not, but I'm not gonna reshoot it.
Right.
So they put it on the air. Step 2, my team does exactly what they should do. They find that most little biting clip and they go put it on Instagram.
Right.
Instagram takes it down. There's no profanity. There's nothing. It's just that if you're not allowed to talk about reality over these crazy political correct models.
Right. That's scary.
Violates the community standards or some shit.
Yeah. That's the only way we can fight back is through freedom of speech. And it's scary when they censor us.
I think so. I think is a lot more damaging to the future than people seem to understand.
Yeah.
So those same people that maybe they're like, who cares about money? Money is your freedom.
Yeah.
If you don't have freedom of speech, if you don't have freedom to control, if you don't have property rights, like you ain't gonna have any freedom.
Yeah.
You ain't even gonna be in the tiny house with a big wife. You ain't even gonna have that.
They're just going to have the big wife.
It's gonna be you're gonna be living outside on a big wife. And big bitch gonna be starving. You're gonna have to use her for a pillow. Use her old.
I like how you
ass.
say bitch. It's unique when you say bitch.
Bitch.
I like it.
Some people have a good.
Don't be a bitch. Protect your freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And get some money.
Yeah. Protect your property rights. They're trying to take all these things.
Yeah, money is the key to freedom.
I hear people say shit like, there's more to life than money. There's more to life.
Oh, that's a
Money's
poor
not
asshole
everything.
saying
It's
that.
like, You know what? There's more to life than water too.
Yeah.
Water isn't everything.
Yeah.
Oxygen, it's not everything. But how fucking long you want to live without oxygen or water? Like,
Yeah, they're talking extremes and absolutes. It's just
what a dumbass thought to have. There's more to life than money is just the thing that's gonna like help your family like eat. Help your
Be comfortable.
Yeah.
Be comfortable, be safe.
Yeah.
A $1 million net worth, there's a study about this a decade ago, adds 11 years to your life expectancy. 11 years, just $1 million. Just $1 million, because you're living in a safer place. You have more safety, more security,
Less
better
stress.
access to food, healthcare, stress.
Yeah. I remember when I was broke, man, I remember going in between my couches, looking for loose change just to be able to get to work. And I remember when we was kids, our first house, we didn't have a bathroom in it.
Yeah.
It's just when you're poor like that to that extent, it's just so much more stress. You worrying about simple, little, minute, trivial things, and it wears on you over time.
Yeah, it's
Makes you smoke more, makes you drink more.
My ancestors, as I mentioned, were Jewish. So still today, when I go to the airport, I go through airport security, and if I find a nickel or a dime, I get so excited. Like, I'm still picking up change or looking for those little opportunities.
Right.
Or refilling a water bottle. I'll bring a couple empty water bottles with me and go fill them up in the airport lounge because they want $6 for a bottle of water on the other side, and
I know.
that's not good use of your assets.
So you still tight with your money. You still try to stay
I love to
frugal.
spend money.
But on the right things, right?
I buy some stupid shit too. I spent $800,000 on a Rolls Royce.
Yeah, I saw that's a nice
It's
car.
the purple one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We bought a purple Phantom, the extended one with a bunch of custom shit. And,
But you're not wasting your money on stupid, trivial things like a
I'm not
bottle.
going to spend $6 on water.
Yeah.
I can spend $800,000 on the car because I didn't spend $6 on water. Kind of true though.
Yeah,
Right,
But
right.
It's a series of decisions made like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
people think shit's accidental. Like, you hear the same type of nonsense. Like, oh, it must be great to be lucky like you guys. Or it's like, I don't know, man. I got a lot luckier. Like, I got a lot luckier going, with my muscles when I went to the gym and lifted the damn weights.
Yeah, it's not even about luck. Huh?
I got a lot luckier with MMA training when I had like the best coaches in the world, a bunch of Hall of Fame UFC guys to help me with that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of decisions leading up to that. They don't see that.
Got a lot luckier in my finances when I went to the best schools and went and, I didn't have mentors and teachers and coaches, so I went and got them for everything I wanted to be good at.
Right.
And, I got really good at a few things.
Yeah, there's some people shouldn't. I mean, today with all the advances in technology, you shouldn't have no excuses why you're not successful. Everything is at your fingertips. I have, like, if I want to look for a mentor in a particular field or expertise, I can go on YouTube and find it.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Poverty's a lifestyle choice in a first world country.
Yeah.
In a first world country, poverty is a lifestyle choice today.
Right. Yeah. Right.
You could choose to do better. You could choose to have at least $1 million net worth. You could, a normal person, a 50th percentile intelligence person, you could choose to have $1 million net worth.
Right.
It's not fucking mystical or magical. You could go do that shit and earn that. No problem.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But not if you're a lazy bitch.
Yeah, absolutely true.
Yeah, a lot of people want the money, but they don't want to put in the work to.
It's like when you get to that first million, it's like an uphill battle. But once you get that first million, that second, third, fourth million, it comes a lot easier. Yeah, it comes a lot easier.
Well, then all your bills are paid, and you can have the capital to invest, and that's what's called capitalism. It's like your money's making you money. This is the goal. Is like, first money I made in entrepreneurship, and then now my investments make me money. Like, I don't buy expensive, silly shit. My investments buy me expensive, silly shit.
Right.
I'm not working for the Rolls Royce. I did the work in the past. Now I have a Maybach. Now I have a Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
A humorous joke that's come up recently is that people say, like, oh, do you get rid of the Maybach? You traded it in? No, I got both. I'm not. Only poor people got to trade in their Maybach when they buy the Phantom.
Just simple decision in stock market like Verizon and so many other stocks, they slowly appreciate every year. Right, it's on a steady up and to the right, and on top of that, they pay dividends 6% a year. Yeah. People don't understand how you can take your money out of the bank account, put it in stock, a safe, respectable stock, and you could be safe and still accrue money and make money. Yeah, and you're just sitting on your ass.
Like as they're going to drop these interest rates. I'm pretty sure this real estate is going to. They think it's expensive now. This real estate is going to get crazy.
Yeah,
that's true. The real estate doesn't become more valuable; the dollar becomes less valuable. And I 100% agree with what you're saying. The price of everything's going to go up. And if you don't own income-producing assets, if you don't own things that are at least inflation neutral, or assets like he's describing that you maybe are the underlying asset is inflation neutral and it pays you a dividend over time, you're going to be in trouble. There's nothing else to say about it. There's not like some magical I'll just do this instead. It's like, no, you won't. No, you can't. Right. And what do you think is going to happen then? Add the AI stuff on top of that. It's like
exactly
people are going to have a harder and harder time having a job.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people now that have college degrees, and I mean, the college degree doesn't mean what it used to. Yeah. You don't actually learn useful things the way that you used to.
Right.
And
is it worth going to college now?
Man, you know what? 5 years ago or more, I'd be like, of course, like you have to. And now it's become so crazed. I used to donate. I was the biggest donor to my graduate school from my class. There's people that are older than me that donated $300 million, things like that. But of the people that I went to school with there, I was always donating money to the school, and I was proud to be at that school. It was the #1 business school in our country, University of Chicago's Booth School of Business. And man, they started these. I stopped the donations when I seen pronouns on the name plaques. When they'd have, they used to just say your name. It'd be like your name, and then like University of Chicago Booth School of Business, And now it's like he, her, him, she, it.
On the diploma.
You know what? There was no problem. There was no confusion. There was no confusion with anybody there. But when I seen that shit, I was just like, what the fuck is? I called them and talked to them about it too.
Yeah,
and they can't say anything. It's a humorous conversation because they really can't have a sincere conversation with you.
Right.
And I'm like, look, I know you can't say much.
Yeah.
I know that you can't risk that this is a recorded phone call. I get that. But this is some bullshit, right? And they'll be like, well, sir, that you're not the first person who's expressed these sentiments. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And like, this is how the whole school is going. Like, I went there to learn like finance and economics. And like, what is this shit?
Like, hopefully, man, it's just a fad, man. We can't continue to go this route.
A phase, a fad, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think so, Kevin. I think shit's here to stay.
No, these people are fucking nuts. And they like it. They like the craziness,
I know.
I don't give a shit man, I don't care what people do, but like, I'm not going to pretend like a man is a woman or a cat is a dog or.
Yeah. Right.
Hey, y'all, 3 red flags that show you might have poop stuck in your coat. Random stomach pains and abdominal cramps like you on your period or something.
Oh, man, think I'm on my period.
Uncontrollable leakage and episodes of diarrhea.
Oh, man, that's horrible.
You got that mud butt.
Oh, God.
You straining and struggling and pushing when you're on the toilet. You gonna get hemorrhoids like that. Trust me, I know. If you're going through any of this, we got the solution for you. Optimal Human, all-in-one nutritional drink has over 90 ingredients. And it can help you with all kinds of issues. All kinds. Especially if your gut and your digestive system is out of whack. Yeah, make your ass great again. Yeah. Y'all need to go to optimalhuman.com/Hodgetwins, and now they letting you try it for free.
Free.
For free. You just gotta pay for shipping. Yeah. Try Optimal Human for free today. Yeah.
Imagine working at a corporate job today. You know, and there's plenty of people in your audience that they're smart people. They went to college. Some of them went to grad school. They worked hard. They did all the things that people our age were taught to do, to go work hard, go through the process of university, go work hard in a company, and work your way up. And you did that. And now imagine you've been working at a place that, you know, maybe you got a nice title, maybe you make a, you know, couple few $100,000 a year. That's great. But at any moment, you could get fired for any reason or no reason at all. Like maybe your coworker, you know, Steven. So your coworker, Steven, you guys work together 14 years, you know? One day, Steven slips in the shower and bumps his fucking head. All right? Steven got a big beard, got a big juicy beard like you guys. Right? Steven shows up to work with a wig and a dress, still got the beard, and a wig and a dress, and now he wants to be referred to as Susan. And if you don't fucking call Steven Susan, the HR department's gonna kick your ass out.
Right.
Like you did something crazy. Like, no, fucking Steven bumped his head. Steven bumped his fucking head.
Right.
So if he wants to call himself Susan, like, all right, but I'm not gonna talk to Susan. I'm not gonna hang out with Susan. I'm not gonna pretend Susan's
Like,
a woman.
hey, you, come here.
It's Susan's voice.
Yeah.
Hey.
The whole diploma thing with the pronouns, I bet you, I didn't even think about this till you brought it up. I bet you people at work on the business email, the company email, I bet you they got the pronouns in there.
Yeah.
I bet you people are doing that now.
I would just suppose I'm crazy. Like, it'd be like, you know, King, Lord, Majesty, or just something arrogant. And
HR calling you to the office.
No, I was thinking on the university. If I was still in school, it doesn't even fit in my head that I'd have a job. But if I was still in school and they did some shit like that, it'd be like, you know, all right, like His Royal Majesty. That's my pronoun.
Yeah.
Royal Majesty. Just anything I could think of that was over the top and silly. Because the whole thing is silly, man. Like,
Yeah, it is.
What problem is that solving?
It's
just
creating
problems.
It's just another one of these distractions. It's just distracting from the things that, you know, like inflation.
That's
It's
what's
actually
important to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see the Olympics, these biological males fighting these women in boxing.
I don't like it.
Yeah. I don't say it in any other sports. It's just boxing.
And
you could actually hurt the woman.
You never see a female who
Wants to be a guy.
who wants to be a guy is fighting another guy. You'll never see that, but you'll always see a man fighting a woman.
Yeah.
What kind of person is that? What kind of
Narcissistic, weak, and evil, corrupt,
Coward.
no integrity.
Garbage person.
Yeah.
I think it's really wrong, and you know the committees that allow that to happen, like what the fuck are you thinking? Why?
Yeah. They say it's all about inclusion and equity.
Beating up women, men beating up women.
Equity is not a good thing.
Yeah.
People, you know, they really perverted that word. They used to call it equality, and then they played a little semantics game where they used the word equality for a lot of our lives. That if you did an equal amount of work, you would have a similar or equal outcome, something like an equal outcome. Now they changed that word from equality to equity. Equity means everybody's equal, period.
Right.
It's unattainable.
Who the hell would work hard? Why would anybody work hard and have the same outcome as someone who does nothing?
Yeah.
And you know, this is like truly the root of like Marxism or communism, where Marx would say like from each of those according to his ability to each of those according to their need.
Right.
So meaning that if you made $2 and some dumb shit over here, did nothing. You worked really hard to make a couple dollars, and this person did nothing. He's supposed to have half of whatever you have,
right?
Because he did nothing. Like,
right.
Imagine why is anybody going to go to work or do anything productive in that circumstance?
Imagine if that came to fruition in the NBA, like LeBron James. Imagine if he made the same money as everybody else. It gives him no incentive to work hard.
I don't think he'd like that.
No. Oh, he'd definitely push back. Yeah. Then he'll be a Republican.
Does he say anything smart? I never heard him say anything intelligent.
He used to say some really. I was the biggest LeBron James fan. Yeah. I remember he had an interview and they said, "What do you think about Black Lives?" Right?
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah. What do you think about Black Lives Matter? And he said, "I think all lives matter."
Yeah.
He actually said that.
Yeah.
But it was way before all the woke stuff hit mainstream.
Yeah.
He said that. Now he's dead in the about face.
I think all these rich people, like especially entertainment, NBA, sports, they're just puppets of the
of these corporations.
Democrats, of corporations.
I wonder about that over time. It's like, you know, I used to watch Michael Jordan when I was a kid. I was growing up in Illinois for a lot of my life, and you know, Michael Jordan was the biggest star imaginable. You know,
Right, right.
or you know, Kobe Bryant. Like these are guys that had like a extreme work ethic, extreme focus, very respectable and admirable people, in my opinion. Yeah, then you know, I watched the current generation of that where they're kneeling for the flag, and I think it's very disrespectful to the country and disrespectful for the people that came before them that put them in the spot that you could be a billionaire at LeBron's age.
Yeah, he's a billionaire. Yeah.
Yeah, and good for him for making the money, but
Right.
that's what you're going to do with the platform, or just push this nonsense.
And
You
it's
could
crazy.
free so many people if you just coming from an objective standpoint, but you just want to be woke like.
Yeah, he puts in the work ethic. He works hard, but then he talks. It's like, no way you believe that, because if you believe that, you would not probably still be in the NBA. You would probably be a bum already. You probably
Yeah.
fell
You
out
want
of
to
the
be
league.
the man
You
you
wouldn't
are.
have stayed in shape. You would have put in the work to stay in the league at 40.
Yeah.
But then I hear you talk and you do a 180. It's like it doesn't make any
Feel
sense.
disingenuous, like he's been fed to say these things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he can't believe that stuff.
What are your thoughts about the mechanisms behind the scenes that gets those people to do that? Like, I mean, so some of it is just simple as like, if you don't agree with the, whatever the trendy shit is in that, Hollywood or publicity scene, then, some people are just kind of blackballed or banned, or you're not going to have work in the future. So I think some of it's just as simple as that. But then you look at things like, I don't know, I've never been into this, all this conspiracy jibber talk, but like, I mean, why is the Epstein list never released?
Right.
And, I've heard a theory on that. It made a lot of sense to me. I haven't heard a better theory. I don't know if it's true. But I think to myself, is like, the CIA and then other government agencies have been doing nasty shit and creating blackmail operations for, Harry Truman created the CIA in 1947. And within a decade, he was already regretting what he did.
Right.
And it's only got worse since then. And I'm not saying it's that specific organization, but, them or other government organizations, that do they create these blackmail operations? Do they help nurture an Epstein type situation so they can blackmail, high level politicians or high level public figures? I don't know, but I've heard that posited that might be the case. And I never heard a better reason to be like, how is it so hard to release those names?
Yeah. Right. I got a friend who works in a CIA building. Not CIA, he's a janitor, right? He cleans the bathrooms, right? He said those people are the most disgusting, vile, and disrespectful human beings you ever met. He said, man, there's feces all over the place. There's piss all over the floor. They don't flush the toilet. He said, you look inside the door, there's feces all. He said, man, these people, and then when you walk by them, they said they treat you like you a slave, like you less than, like you beneath them.
They shitting on the door?
He said it's everywhere. This is the CIA, FBI, supposed to be the most intelligent, bright people we have. And they can't even use the bathroom correctly.
Well, it's probably a power thing. What are the janitor going to say? You got to clean it up. That's probably why he told you. They said these people are just dirty people.
Yeah.
It's probably like a power thing for them.
What a bizarre way to live.
Yeah.
Well, it's just part-time. He's got a great job.
I'm not making fun of him. I say the mentality of a person who can't
exactly
take care of their business in the
this
toilet.
Is the
and
FBI and CIA.
I would be embarrassed when I left the toilet.
wouldn't you?
Yeah. If I drop one drop of piss on the toilet, nope, I'm not going to leave that. They're going to say I'm a piece of shit, But he said it's everywhere. He said they are so disgusting. He said, I could not believe how disgusting these people are.
I was upset. I had an event here for 4th of July weekend in town, and had 30-something clients, is high ticket, small group. And I went to the bathroom, and everybody's using the same bathroom in this conference space. And I think somebody like threw a tissue at the garbage can, and it's like next to the garbage can on the floor. In a different one, somebody blew their nose and set it on the fucking toilet, the back of the toilet tank. And I walked out of there and I talked to the people. I said, "What the fuck is wrong with you? That like, there's only 30 of us,
Yeah.
with my team and everybody. Maybe there's 40 people there, and so you're disrespecting me, but you're disrespecting everybody else here. It's like a small group of people that you went through a lot of trouble to be invited to be in that room.
Right.
You spend a lot of time working. You spend a lot of money to be there." and you're gonna fucking throw shit on the floor and like
Yeah.
like that's the brand reputation that we're gonna have. That's the reputation we're gonna have with each other. But that's the way that you're gonna represent my brand is put the fucking tissue on the floor. Like pick that shit up, pick that fucking tissue up and put it in the garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I don't like little things. If I do something like that, I picked it up. You know.
Right. Right.
I like your janitor friend. So you know.
He said,
Thankfully they didn't shit on the door.
he said, man, he said it is crazy.
Hey, what's the shittiest job you ever had?
You know, I did when I was
Janitor.
I mean, hey, you know, when you're an entrepreneur and you guys live this yourself, when you're an entrepreneur, you're in charge of everything. I'm in charge of picking up that fucking that tissue off the floor that some fucking nasty bastard blew his nose and threw it over there. I'm in charge of that. I'm in charge of whatever has to be done. I think the essence of your question, earlier in life, I worked at Del Monte for a little bit. I was like cleaning machines as a teenager. I was like, we're like a harness, and they put you inside like a big stainless steel tub, and you're like spraying acid that's gonna fuck you up if it gets on you. You know, so you're covered in like a hazard suit, and like spraying acid on the walls of the stainless steel drum. And I thought, man, this sucks. And it's hot in there, and you're sweaty, and you know. Yeah. So that wasn't too much fun.
Dangerous.
I had a job at Walmart that was my last job. I was at Walmart. I was fresh out of jail. I got a high school dropout.
Right.
You want to know how much you can change your life in a period of time? So I was 18 years old, fresh out of jail, high school dropout, and I'm not happy to say this part, but I lied on my Walmart application. I lied to get a job at Walmart, which I don't like to say that I lied about anything because I don't want to live my life that way.
Right.
But at that time, that's what I did. You know, because I couldn't even get a job at Walmart.
Right.
You know, and I was like unloading trucks and stocking shelves at like a third shift, and they hired me for seasonal help. It was like, you know, for like November, December, and if you did a great job, they might keep you on later.
Right.
If you did a great job. And I remember being on that loading dock, and there's like, you know, like ice and snow blowing in, you know, in early December. And I looked around, and like I was 18, but there's a lot of people there that were in their 40s and 50s, and I thought everybody here is a fuck up. It's like nobody's here because they wanted to be here. Right. Nobody's here because this was their dream. It's like everybody here is a fuck up, including me. You know.
Right.
And I thought, if I can't outperform these other fuck ups, like this is where you deserve to be. Like, and not to be too disrespectful to those people. That's not my intention of saying it, but like, they're there for a reason, you know.
Right.
And at that time, I was there for a reason too. That I didn't make good choices before then, so here I am. And I thought, like, I got to outwork everybody here and be the best goddamn, you know, Walmart shelf stocker. If I can't do that, why am I qualified for more?
Right.
And I really kept that thought still today. I still think that way. Like, if you can't overcome your current problems, like, why would you be qualified for higher quality problems?
Right.
Why would you be qualified for a better situation in life? So I still had that sort of work ethic of like, and by the way, after 4 months, they gave me a promotion. So they hired me full time. They put me in charge of 2 departments. Later, they made me support manager. So I was like 19 and had like, you know, keys to the store and could order whatever and things like that. And they promoted me. They gave me merit raises. They promoted me quicker than they're allowed to, you know, by like corporate policy. So the store manager was good to me. The district manager was good to me. And then that got capped out where they're like, well, you know, we can't, you need to hire up in corporate office to sign off on any other promotion. And it's going to be at least 3 years. And I didn't like that. I was like, you know, you got to judge me from, you know, my capacity to get things done, not for amount of time I've been there, you know?
Right.
And so then I went to college full time and started building my own things independently. But people talk bad about Walmart, but even there, wherever you're at, if you can't outperform the people there, why are you qualified to have more? Why are you qualified to do better? If you can't do that, then that's where you're going to stay, man. That's where you're going to be.
I remember my like first job out of the Marine Corps, I went to security guard work. These people, everybody working at a security guard company, I'm not going to say everybody. Everybody was pretty much a wannabe cop, and they were not good enough to be a cop. So at this job, everybody thought they were cops. Total dicks and assholes. Wherever you went, I was like, these people are losers.
Yeah.
But I was there with them because I didn't make good choices with my life and what I didn't have any goals. I didn't have any ambition. So it makes you wake up. Like it makes you wake up at Walmart. That job made me wake up. I said, I could do a lot better than this.
So yeah, that's a great story. You got out of prison or jail.
Jail.
You did not prison, jail. You got your job at Walmart. You surrounded by fuck ups, and a light went off in your head and said, I can do way better than what I'm doing now. And a lot of people do not make that realization.
They don't recognize it.
They don't recognize it.
It's always somebody else's fault.
I was always willing to work hard, but I really didn't. And I don't mean to tell like a sad story. I was just like a teenage kid, and I didn't have somebody to point me in the right direction. So as an adult, I really made that decision. Like, you need to have good coaches, mentors. You need somebody who accomplished the things that you want to accomplish, and they can make it way easier for you to do that.
Right.
If you're humble enough to work hard and follow instructions.
Yeah.
Your life could be a whole lot better, a lot quicker than it was for them.
Right. A mentor is everything. It could expedite. You could either do it on your own, learning through trial and error. You can cut through all that bull just by hiring a mentor. Yeah.
Even MMA training, which is a hobby to me. I'm not trying to. I'm 45. I'm not trying to be a pro fighter.
Right.
But I think nobody in the world trained more than I did the last 3 years. That sounds halfway ridiculous, but no one has a better coaching team than I do. If you look at my Instagram, the people that I'm working out with regularly, I'm training MMA like 19 days a month with a bunch of the best people in the world. That wasn't accidental. Like, I had to go create those relationships and invest in those people and help them solve problems and pay them well. Once in a while, some dumbass would be like, Derek, you're paying your coaches. No shit. No shit. No shit. So the fucking Hall of Fame, the best Hall of Fame world champion motherfuckers from UFC didn't buy their own plane ticket to come fly to me to work for free for 4 days at a time.
Right.
And then come back a couple months later and a couple months later and no shit, I paid my fucking coaches. You know what else I did when I went to school? I paid tuition. I paid my teachers too.
Right.
So I think there's like, well, if you cared about people, you would help them for free. He's like, no one wouldn't.
That's not helping people.
If you don't care about investing in your future, then I believe your future is probably not worth investing in. So
exactly.
I was always willing to do my part, but I knew that frustration from all the guess in check, being a dumbass kid and not having good teachers, coaches, mentors. Versus when I started seeing people would be like, oh, just try this or try that, and then you go do the thing and you come back to them and they teach you the next thing. And if you don't do shit, then of course those people aren't going to spend any damn time with you because they shouldn't. But if you're willing to do your part and you have a great coach, a great mentor, it changed your life, man. Changed your life a lot.
Yeah. What did it feel like? Because you came from nothing, started at the bottom, now you're here, like Drake say. Now, what did it feel like when you bought the Rolls Royce?
You know what? One of my friends, she was a 3-time world champion in jiu-jitsu, and she didn't win the title, but fought for the title at UFC. And she asked me, but I said, oh, are you excited about the Rolls Royce? And I said, yeah, I'm excited. And she, you don't seem to. So I said, I've been thinking about that car for 30 years.
Yeah.
I've been working my ass off for 30 years.
Yeah.
If I did the right things over that time, like I should be able to buy whatever damn car I want to, So, on one hand, I feel good about that. I feel like a contentment, or like, oh, that's cool. Like, it's a fucking car, man.
Yeah.
It's a fucking car.
Yeah.
I hate to break it to somebody who's, like, if they had this or that car, their life would be perfect.
Right.
It's a fucking car. It's nice.
Right.
It's very comfortable.
Yeah, you're not trying to be like Warren Buffett, like billions of dollars. I'm going to spend some of this money.
Yeah.
I did well enough. I can buy a nice car if I want to, But I don't tell anybody else how to live their life, man. But I do think this is like, I wanted that car. I remember being like 13 or so, and there was a couple kids that I grew up with, and I remember vaguely having the conversation of like, if you could have any kind of vehicle when we're adults, like what would you like to have? And the one kid, I remember he wanted a Ford Bronco, back when Ford Broncos were still kind of cool before they made these little, feminized ones.
You're right.
I know, right?
Yeah, but. And then I remember what the other guy said, and I thought, I'd like to have a Rolls Royce. And I think I watched like Beverly Hills Cop or something, at that time, and I had that anchor in my head from, it was looking fun to, Eddie Murphy running around Beverly Hills having fun and shit, and funny show. So I think I had like an anchor in my head like that. There's like scenes at the Playboy Mansion and that type of shit. Well, years later, I was at the Playboy Mansion a dozen times, and so the things that you seen earlier, they laughed at me at the time. I said, I'd like to have a Rolls Royce. And they laughed and said, how would any of us ever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but I think I can.
Right.
And just those little thoughts in your head. Like, don't be discouraged by some of those childhood thoughts, or by somebody told you can't have something, you can't do something. Like, if you believe that, then you can't.
Right.
Like, I'm not like a big like positive thinking guy. I'm like,
right.
Go get the fucking work done. I'm a go get the fucking work done guy, and then you can have whatever you want,
Right.
But yeah, it felt good, but it was it's not like some euphoric feeling. It feels like how you feel when you get the shit that you earned. Like you did the work, you earned the thing. Of course, you're supposed to have the thing.
It almost feel like you've been there before. When you buy something that you always dreamed about, and then when you get it, you're not overreacting and say, "I deserve that," And it's just like another purchase. When I brought my 2 homes, it's like, some people, how you see the person on TV, they won a sweepstakes or a lot of like, oh God, I can't believe it. Because they won something. They didn't have to earn it. Like you and me and my brother and people I work with, when you buy these things, it's like, I deserve it. Nothing's changed about you. You always knew you was going to get that. You just had to put in the work for it.
I had this, who Chuck Liddell is? Yeah. So Chuck was staying with me a couple of weeks ago. He was my coach for that week. And we were on like a mentoring call that I do with my clients. I asked my coaches to come on for an hour and just have a little chit chat with my clients and Q&A. And, Chuck made a comment about, when he won the belt, blah, blah, blah. I said, you didn't win the belt. You earned the belt. You never won. You didn't win a championship like a fucking lotto game or a bingo or some shit. Like you worked your ass off for a dozen years before then. You earned the belt. You didn't win the belt.
Right.
And, about that, he's like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Look at just a little twist of how you see things that could change your life. Have a different perspective.
Another thing in that vein that I hear people say frequently is like, you got to make sacrifices to get what you want. No, you got to make investments. Are you making a sacrifice to not be like drunk and high on the weekend? Or are you just making a choice that you're going to have a better future, that I'm going to choose to do something industrious and productive instead of something that's, retarded and destructive.
Yeah.
That's a shame they don't use the word retarded anymore. It precisely describes the phenomenon it purports to describe.
Yeah.
But I digress. It's a choice to have what you want. It's a choice to put in that extra work and have the thing. So don't think about, it's not a sacrifice, it's an investment. Yeah. It's an investment. You're not sacrificing time with your children if you're building a better life for your children.
Right.
You're not sacrificing anything if you're making your life better, and you'll be well rewarded in the future for your current efforts.
Right.
I think successful people have that mindset that you get shared, and people who are not successful, they decide to like victimize themselves. Say, nah, I can't ever get that because I'm black or because I'm
Jewish
or I'm that or I'm
Native
this.
American,
and they just find a way to talk themselves out of it.
Why do you think some people decide to stay poor and dumb? They just have that thought loop, like you're saying.
Because a lot of it's taught.
Yeah, I think the reason why they decide to live that way, because if they flip how they see things, they telling themselves that I was actually wrong. Some people don't want to admit that they're wrong, so they rather drive that car until those damn wheels fall off and they drive off a fucking cliff. They don't want to ever admit that they're wrong. Successful people like you, they admit when they're wrong and when they need to fix things.
Yeah.
People that's poor,
that's
they find excuses to stay poor. They don't want to acknowledge that they suck.
That's the biggest professional attribute anybody could have.
Yeah.
I took that long look at that mirror. I looked in the mirror. I said, "You a sorry ass nigga. You're sorry nigga." And then I started, because I was brought up as a Democrat. My mama said, "Oh, white people, Republicans, they for racist. Democrats are for black people." Mama didn't know what the hell she was talking about, So I was born into it, and I was born in the poor, but it doesn't decide my fate. It doesn't decide how successful I'm going to be. I just had to take initiative, correct my wrongs, and just continue to just work, and outwork the next person.
Yeah.
Touching on both of those, is like, I'm still laughing. Yourself.
I shouldn't say that. But I did. I looked at him and I said, "You sorry ass nigga." And I did that. I stopped making excuses, and my life changed over the next 3 years. My life changed drastically.
I think having that internal focus and the point that you jointly made there in your self-reflection in your previous comment is like, man, like I think people that are successful, like you're looking for feedback. Like I spend a lot of time and money looking for somebody who's smart to tell me where I'm dumb so I can be less dumb. Like it don't hurt my feelings for somebody to help me banish some of my ignorance and do a bit better. Like I love that. I like to be around other people that are doing better than me in some areas and can point me in the right direction. So don't be stuck on feeling like you I mean you got to be honest about, step number one is like be honest about where you're at right now in life. If you want to do better, stop lying about, oh, I'm doing good. So no, you're probably doing shit. If you're even contemplating that, you're not doing as good as you should be. You're not doing as good as you could be. You already know that if you're even having that contemplation.
Yeah, you got to be brutally honest with yourself.
And I think just taking like a very objective inventory of like kind of the balance sheet of your life, or what's the current what are the assets and liabilities that you have in your life right now, and start building those assets a little bit more and offloading those liabilities. And in a bit of self-reflection, and pretty soon your circumstances.
I did a lot of self-reflection.
I might have done a little myself.
I probably did too much, but yeah.
I would like you to tell people about where they can find you and your courses that you provide to help people.
You probably look at Instagram or YouTube. Look up Derek Moneyberg, Derek Moneyberg, Berg, not Burg. I imagine your editors put that on the screen.
Right? Yeah.
Check. Look, I help people. It's not for everybody. It's not. If you're lazy, I can't help you. If you don't believe in your future, you don't want to invest in it, I trust your judgment. Your future is probably not worth investing in. But you could be poor and dumb by yourself. You don't need my help with that. But if you're doing well already, and you know you should be doing even better, and you want help with your finances, you want to understand how does a small business function, how do we build a small business, how do you use entrepreneurship to advance your current career, how do you learn things that help you with your financial investments, whether that be in real estate or the stock market or other assets, I can help you with that, and I'm happy to. But you're gonna work. If you take any of my courses, you're gonna spend 20, 25 hours a week working. And if you don't want to do that work, we just throw people out of the course. We don't do lazy shit. So it's not for normal people. It's for people that you're probably already doing quite well at something, but you could do even better. And you want to be around a group of other successful people, current and future millionaires, people that are dedicated to doing well for themselves. So happy to help you if you're happy to help yourself. And I look forward to helping anybody here that wants a path to brighter ways and better days. And
you have a website?
That shit don't happen accidentally. You go to moneyberg.com. Most things that you'd want, check out the Instagram, and if you send me a DM, you'll be put into an elaborate funnel. We'll DM you for the rest of your life to get you in or out. You have to opt in or out. It's not for me. Right. I'm okay with a tiny house and a huge woman. Success is not for me, dear. So I understand, but success is for you. I'm happy to help.
Yeah, you mentioned something. It's all about your circle of people you're around.
Yeah,
like it was this one guy. He said something. Show me your 5 friends, I'll show you your future.
Right.
You got 5 friends who are just complain, victimizing. You can be broke just like them. You got to surround yourself with other people.
Yeah,
that's successful.
You need a team around you. Kevin Hart, he's not doing all this stuff by himself. He's got a team around him.
Yeah,
if you want to be better, you need a team around you.
That thought goes back at least 2,000 years. That a guy named Epictetus talks about what you just said. Jim Rohn popularized this in the 70s. Like, you be like the 5 people you spend the most time with. But that's a 2,000-year-old thought, at least, where he said, you have to choose to earn your spot amongst higher quality people, or be resigned to stay down there with the people that you're with, at the cost of the success or goodness in life you could have had. They say you can't do it halfway, or you'll never fit into either group. You won't be accepted by the better group, and you'll also be kicked out of the peasant group. That you got to make a full commitment to.
Yeah, the peasant group, man. You think you better than us? They kick you out. Yeah. Hey, it was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Respect.
Thank you.
I've been watching you guys for at least 10 years. When back to the gains.
Gains. I need to get back.
We're gonna bring it back, man.
So thank you so much for having me on, and really a pleasure to get to meet both of you and know you a little bit.
Same here.
Thank you.